Coming up on Mountain News this morning, hundreds of thousands of dollars are set to be dispersed here in our region to benefit our economy. And an Eastern Kentucky business that saw destruction during the flooding in late July opens its doors once again, but in a new location.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, y'all. It is 6 o'clock and it's Thursday. It's almost Friday. Woo, almost Friday. Let's head over to Brandon for a look at our forecast. Oh, and by the way, I'm Dakota. I didn't say my name. I'm just going to stop saying it anyway. It shows up.
Listen, I think the struggle bus has captured 2 victims this morning.
You know what happened? I slept too much last night. That was the issue.
I guess I didn't sleep enough then.
Normally when I sleep too long, my body's used to only getting like 4 hours of sleep, and
right.
then, but
there you go.
Oh well.
All right, let's truck on anyway, and we'll take a look at the I started to say it right. Whitesburg Pine Mountain camera there. I'm about to go back to the house. US 119 up on top of the mountain this morning. No fog up there as we head out the door, but again, we're seeing some conditions that are on the cooler side, and you'll see that on the temperature map. 39 Monticello, 42 Clintwood, 49 Prestonsburg, 44 in London, 42 Irvin, 53 Jackson, 46 Harlan, and 45 in Middlesboro. Regional temperatures 60 in Myrtle Beach, and then again a lot of 40s and 50s clustered here around our region, from Pittsburgh at 41 to Columbus at 41, Memphis at 56, Atlanta's at 57, and the Big Apple, New York, 54 this morning. Coffee meter, a little extra, please. All the coffee, please. A little extra out there for temperatures, and again, for all of us who are struggling this morning. But the donut forecast, as you start to remove those, you'll see that the sunshine is going to be around, and it's going to be a beautiful day. Get out there and enjoy it. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Well, the debate over abortion access and reproductive rights is driving some voters to the polls, but will it result in the turnout Democrats are expecting? WYMT Washington News Bureau's Nicole Newman takes a closer look.
In the nearly 5 months since the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade, Democrats have focused on making abortion rights the centerpiece of their campaigns. It's all in an effort to push their supporters to the ballot box to hold on to the balance of power in Congress. Kristen Rowe Finkbeiner is the executive director of the online network Moms Rising, which its website says is more than 1 million members strong.
The ability to decide if, when, and how many children to have, reproductive rights, is absolutely going to drive people of all genders to the polls.
In a recent poll, the Kaiser Family Foundation found abortion access and reproductive health is activating Democratic women, especially in states where abortion is currently illegal. 13 states have enacted full bans on abortion.
I think for me, I always thought the reproductive health issues as an election issue was going to take a little bit of time.
Political analyst Katie Wannenberg says while reproductive health is an important issue this election cycle, the economy and inflation is something that's currently impacting all voters.
I think it will be huge in 2024 because we're going to see more and more stories about women's access being cut off, the harm it's doing to individuals and their families. But right now, I mean, we just have an economic uphill that I think is really hard.
While we won't know exactly the impact the fight for reproductive rights has at the ballot box until the votes are tallied, the Kaiser Family Foundation did find in its poll that neither party held a distinct advantage when it came to motivating voters. It was just that the issues driving them were different. For Republicans, it's the economy. For Democrats, it's reproductive health. In Washington, I'm Nicole Newman.
Amendment 2 will also be on the ballot for Kentucky voters this year. This would impact the future of abortion rights in the Commonwealth. The other constitutional amendment on your ballot this year is Amendment 1, which deals with lawmakers calling themselves into a special session. Kentucky is one of 14 states where only the governor can call a special session. Well, the governor also decides what is on the agenda of that special session when it is called.
One reason Kentucky's legislative branch is so weak compared to in other states is that they meet for a very short period of time where they're always in a rush. They can't really set policy in a deliberative way because they're rushing to get to the end of those short sessions.
Amendment 1 is 154 words, and experts say that may hurt its chances of getting passed. A Kentucky lawmaker drafted a bill concerning transgender students in Kentucky schools. The bill was filed by Representative Bill Wesley of District 91. It would require students to use the restroom that matches the sex they were assigned at birth. It also asks schools to provide, quote, the best available accommodations for students who identify as transgender. A bill to limit transgender girls from competing in girls' sports in Kentucky schools was passed into law earlier this year, despite a veto from Governor Andy Beshear. We are less than 1 week away until the midterm elections, but no excuse early voting. That starts today here in Kentucky. Voters will have a chance to cast their ballot through Saturday. Each county will have specific locations to vote early. You can find your polling place at elect.ky.gov. As Kentuckians head to the polls, Attorney General Daniel Cameron wants to remind you about the election fraud hotline. The hotline is active throughout the year and records messages 24/7. However, during the 2022 general election, the hotline will be staffed from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Calls will be answered live during early in-person voting and on Election Day. Examples of election fraud include campaign violations, bribery, poll disruptions, and voter or election worker intimidation. Governor Andy Beshear says new jobs are coming to Magoffin County. Emerald Energy and Exploration Land Company is moving its headquarters to Salyersville. The company is the first to announce plans to relocate the newly established Gifford Road Industrial Park. The governor says this $1.4 million investment will bring 25 jobs to that area. Construction is set to start in early 2024 and should be finished by the beginning of 2025. On Tuesday, the U.S. Department of Agriculture Undersecretary was in London, meeting with various Eastern Kentucky leaders and distributing $478,000 in community and business investments. Olivia Calfee has that story.
Community leaders sat down on Wednesday with the USDA Undersecretary Xochitl Torres Small after granting thousands of dollars to various Eastern Kentucky communities.
The Biden-Harris administration's focus on Rural Partners Network and how we can work with people living in rural places to develop their dreams, to invest in their plan.
Small says it was great sitting down with leaders in these communities to learn where this money is going and the impact it will have.
Whether it was talking about affordable housing, whether it was talking about creating jobs, whether it was talking about investing in new markets, there's clearly a lot of great plans here, a lot of resiliency in the wake of the recent floods, and a lot of dreams that we're proud to be a part of.
The Kentucky Highlands Investment Corps received a nearly $100,000 grant on Wednesday for rural business development. Sandy Curd says if Eastern Kentucky is not strong, the individual counties won't be strong.
Let's help out the Breathitt counties, the Lee counties, the Owsley counties. Let's help out Pike and Floyd and those until we are all economically not distressed. We can't stop, and we have to collaborate and help as much as we can.
Small says she loved hearing stories about these grants, helping beyond their individual counties.
The mayor of Pineville talked about a local project, and then I heard him say, and it's really become a regional project. Everyone's got a piece of it. We're talking across multiple counties about how we can all plug into this goal.
Investments benefiting businesses and communities across Eastern Kentucky. In Laurel County, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture for Rural Development supports rural areas with less than 20,000 residents, providing various funding such as low-interest direct loans and grants. After more than 3 months of cleanup, troublesome Creek String Instrument Company of Hindman opened its doors once again. In addition to resuming instrument production, the company has also received a $500,000 grant from the Appalachian Regional Commission to benefit the Music Hills from Recovery to Workforce project. This program provides job opportunities to those recovering from addiction.
The newest thing that we're doing is we're working off an aftercare program, which involves counseling and medical and feeding them, and just an extension of what we'd always been doing.
Well, the company is currently operating out of another building owned by the Appalachian Artisan Center. The Appalachian School of Luthieri director says he hopes the original building will be ready to move back in sometime next year. Well, did you graduate from a Kentucky community college but you lost your certificate or diploma during July's flood? Well, the Kentucky Community and Technical College System announced it will replace paper credentials like certificates or diplomas at no cost. Typically, the services cost $25 to $35 for printing and mailing, but those costs are being waived for students who graduated from Big Sandy, Hazard, Somerset, or Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College branches. The system is offering a similar relief program for people in Western Kentucky impacted by the tornadoes last year.
Coming up on 610 on this foggy Friday Eve, we're looking again at the cameras across the region going down to London along I-75 right now. Not a whole lot of light down there, but you can tell there's some fog in the background this morning as some light traffic travels through there. 44 that way, 42 just up the road in Irvin, 46 in Jacksboro, 46 in Harlan, 51 in Pikeville, 53 in Jackson, and 39 in Monticello this morning, 42 over in Clintwood in Southwest Virginia. So some cool spots out there. That's all right, though. We're heading into the 70s later this afternoon. 74 your daytime high. Lots of sunshine. Get out there and enjoy it. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Well, the time is 6:10 when we come back here on Mountain News this morning. One Kentucky team works to remember the historic names of people who were once enslaved in the Commonwealth so their descendants can find their information in a much easier way.